I'll go ahead and give y'all a warning. I'm fully prepared to get interrupted during the course of this with something that I don't necessarily want to do. I'm going to hope that's not the case. I'm going to hope that we get through this, because this is a massive video. I believe the audio is working, and we are here once again, and potentially for the final time, for our AHS Plays UFC 5 series. Event number 15. I'm going to title it Finale. Long story short, this might be the series finale, or it might just be the season finale. I said that we're going to work on and try to finish our Brooklyn Nets franchise series on NBA 2K25. Depending on how long that takes or when that's done, will determine if more UFC 5 events happen after that, because we might be ready to do something else and start a new series on the AHS Plays series or timeline franchise. There's a lot of words that could go there, but y'all don't really care about that. Y'all care about seeing some fights in the octagon, and we have 5 big ones here. I always said that the goal is to make the event bigger, better, and better than the next one. And this one, we have 4 title matches, a dream match to start the card off. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Going to Madison Square Garden, Fedor Emelianenko versus Daniel Cormier. Is DC a black Fedor? We'll find out, maybe. Who knows? I'm also filming this while my Fortnite is updating it. So, actually, I'm not. My Fortnite should be updating while I'm filming this, so maybe that's more incentive to get this done. Or not. Who knows? Because I don't know where my water is. I see it now. There was two elimination games in the NBA tonight. I don't feel. Oh my goodness! I can't. All right. This is gonna get uploaded Saturday, so I'll tell you like this. I did not watch Warriors and Rockets the other night, and I will tell y'all this straight up. I do not like the Warriors. I feel that y'all know this because I've said it dozens of times, and I'm going the route of just not watching their games in hopes that they lose. So I will not be talking about that game, because when this is uploaded, Game 6 would have already happened, but I can't tell you what happens. You know, I can try to predict, but I don't know. So I'm talking about the Thursday games, which one of them matters a whole lot more, because the day that this is getting uploaded, we get a Game 7 between the Los Angeles Clippers and Denver Nuggets. It's very fitting that a lot of people from Game 1 said, we need 7 games of this. And we are getting 7 games of this. Crazy finish. Game 1 went into overtime. Game 2, the Clippers put on a massive ending. Game 3, Clippers got a big win in their first playoff game in the Intuit Dome. Game 4, an all-time finish. Down 20 points, the Clippers come back, take the lead. The Nuggets rally and are like, okay, we don't really want to blow this. And then they don't, with a crazy buzzer beater. There was also a scram, a fight, scrap. It led to no ejections, because it wasn't really a fight. It was just more pushing, but the intensity was there. Game 5 and 6, both home teams were wanting to win at home court, at home, and they did, even though, again, they were close games. So Game 7, potentially a mixture of all of those things. Time will tell. I'm ready for it. I think everybody's ready for it. Everybody loves the games. Does everybody love the Game 7? It's very much like the plan. I think people like watching them unless your team's involved. Because if your team's involved, you're kind of hoping that you could have finished the series a lot earlier, and be ready to move on. So I won't necessarily say everybody loves a Game 7, but Saturday night should be fun. Potentially still have one more Game 7. Now, that being said, I have no clue when the East play-in game or second round starts. Von flu choke. We're changing it up on them. We might get them to tap. Not there, obviously, but in the second round. Oh, I haven't even talked about the Giannis. Oh my God. Actually, I have. I have. Haven't I? No, I have not. I'm trying to think. I have not. Because I filmed the Brooklyn Nets franchise video this week after game 4. And I talked a lot about game 4. I got it mixed up. That being said, it goes to show. I don't know. It's kind of messed. There is so much to talk about that after that game 5 that if you chose to talk about anything from it, it was fitting. But like I said, there's so much to talk about. I would say what should be number 1 and wasn't talked about as much was Tyrese Halliburton hitting the game winner with like a second left and completing the comeback. More of everything was talking about his dad getting in Giannis's face and the aftermath of the game, or talking about the Bucks blowing a 7-point lead with 40 seconds left. So what should have been talked about the most, this was the whole point I was trying to make. What should have been talked about the most in the game winner very much got lost in translation. But I also feel that everything that I just said, the aftermath of the game, blowing the lead, what the hell the Bucks should do, all are equal value discussions because they're just a chaotic ending. And I feel that 4 or 5 series, that's kind of how it should be a little bit because it's the close in the first round. Those are the most even match series because you're right there with one another, especially in the West. All these damn teams had so close, like the records so close together. So why you're getting a game 7 out of one of those matchups. So Cavs Pacers should be interesting. Celtics Knicks I think is probably going to be the best second round matchup if I have to say so early on. But it's also a case of the Knicks, and I'm going to give the Pistons credit because they fought in each one of their matchups. But it was legitimately their first time in the playoffs. Obviously, there was experience and veterans on the playoffs, but the most notable players on the Pistons, Cade and Duran and Thompson, it was their first time in the playoffs. Where with the Knicks, again, it's the other side. Like all those guys are experienced in the playoffs. And the fact that they couldn't just dominate is a bit questionable, That's why with the Celtics, like, if they thought that the Pistons were hard, the Celtics will legitimately probably be like 2 times as hard to beat. So that's why there's not really, I don't have much faith in the Knicks in the second round because you should have had a lot more faith in them in the first. And we got, obviously, basketball-wise, we got great basketball games and moments. Also, you could make the argument the Pistons should have won because of the ending of Game 4 and endings of other games, but Game 4, obviously. But I also feel fan base-wise and history-wise gives the benefit of that being the best series if I had to give an early prediction. Obviously, I'm trying my best to stand up and not have to go on the ground with Chael Sonnen. But this fight will determine the baddest man on the planet again. Also, officially announced, while we're on the side of UFC things, officially announced Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway 3. Now, what sucks the most about this is they're probably my 2 favorite fighters in the UFC right now, so putting them against each other is a hellacious act considering they have fought twice before, and this fight is not a tiebreaker fight, So that kind of sucks. Oh my, Jesus, that was freaking thunderous. But obviously, again, I understand. I do and I don't understand why they did it. I think my main question that came from this, because I think of wrestling with everything. So it's very much a wrestling thought process, but it's just like, if Max is to lose here, and he lost to the same guy 3 times in a row, which, It's not surprisingly not the first time we've had this conversation with Max Holloway, but still loses to the same guy 3 times in a row, or 3 times. Why? Like, what benefit does it have for him after? Because to our knowledge, he's not retired after this. If it was a double retirement, that would be a bit insane, and I'm not hoping for that. But I don't really know their benefit that Max gets out of this if he's to lose. Where with other fighters, they at least are saying they're losing to a freaking Hall of Famer and had a chance to be the last, I don't really see much benefit for Max if he is to lose. Now, if he wins, he retains his BMF title, gets an established victory in lightweight, which he kind of already has that over Gaethje. That was freaking thunderous. And that was ending worthy. So Mike Tyson went undefeated in our series. Let's see if we can remember everybody he won against. He won against Muhammad Ali, Campbell Slice, Derek Lewis, Tito Ortiz, and now Chael Sonnen is added to the list as Mike Tyson retains his baddest man on the planet championship and went through the gauntlet, to say the least. We also still don't have a confirmation on what the lightweight title fight is supposed to be up next, but all signs are pointing towards it being Ilya and Islam. But lightweight's in a good situation. So we have another heavyweight fight. Stipe Miocic in our series. The last time he competed at Madison Square Garden, he got revenge over John Jones. So is MSG now Stipe's building? We'll find out after this fight. Definitely the most dominant heavyweight in our series. And all time. There, I said it. Defeating Fedor, Cain Velasquez, John Jones, Minotaur Nogueira. Now looking to add Dan the Severed to this list. Dan Severn also had a great performance against Tom Aspinall. He is being 2 times slower here, as he immediately takes us down after that. So I respect that, at least. I'm excited for Backlash next week. Orton Cena. Backlash historically, outside of 2018 probably, have been great pay-per-views, premium live events, because it's very much feeding off the energy of WrestleMania. So the history of Backlash, 1999 was kind of the first time they had to deal with. It was the first Backlash, but was not the first year to have a pay-per-view after Mania. 2000, the all-time, one of my all-time favorite pay-per-views. And you could definitely make the argument that it's better than that year's WrestleMania. That was the previous month. I think if you mix things, I don't know. I very much think that the WrestleMania 2000 main event should have just been Triple H versus The Rock, if we're just being honest. And had Triple H. I don't really know. Triple H win, even though The Rock probably should have won. Actually, let's just do it this way. Triple H, Rock wins at WrestleMania 2000 with the help of Stone Cold. That way Stone Cold gets a WrestleMania moment, even though he wasn't cleared. So essentially the Backlash match should have happened at WrestleMania. And then Triple H wins the title back at Backlash with the help of Vince, which the whole Mania moment was Vince turning, which I hate that I had to say that, but it's not really a Mania moment. Also doesn't help that the damn next year's main event is almost the same thing. Then Judgment Day, they still could have done the Iron Man match, maybe. Also, the King of the Ring match, which was like a 6-man tag. Very confusing. But they ended up just putting the belt back on The Rock. So the thing that gets screwed up there is Triple H doesn't. You know what? Screw it. Rock wins the belt back. at Judgment Day. Let's do it that way. Backlash 2001, underrated pay-per-view. And people say that after WrestleMania X7 that the WWF went to shit. It didn't really happen until the invasion happened. So that like 3-month period, you get some underrated moments. You got the tag match on Raw where Triple H gets hurt and the Power Trip lose the tag titles, and then the next SmackDown filmed the next night. You get TLC 3, which is one of my all-time favorite matches. You get King of the Ring 01, which is 3 Kurt Angle matches in one night. Probably the most notable one being Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon. So, my opinion, post WrestleMania X7 till the invasion, good times. And then Backlash 2002, kind of an eh. Like, there's a lot of good things that happen on it, but I wouldn't necessarily it's a good show. I wouldn't say it's better than the previous two, but it was kind of a crazier show, if we want to put it that way. 03, 04, kind of the same way, but 04, we at least got Cactus Jack, Randy Orton, which again, you could make the case that should have been the WrestleMania match, and it would have been the match of the night, but I could also understand them wanting to put The Rock on the card, and that was the easiest way to do it, so I understand that at least. Backlash 05. 05, all right, now we're kind of getting into the day and day. Like 05 to 09 when it ends, they're good pay-per-views for the time period, but their predecessors are a lot better. Now, fast forwarding to Backlash 2016, which is not after Mania, but instead after SummerSlam, we get AJ Styles winning his first WWE Championship and also the first SmackDown pay-per-view after the brand split is brought back. And I don't want to say it's the best SmackDown pay-per-view of that era, but I think it has the most highlights of it because they had the new women's and tag champions. AJ wins, you know. It wasn't oversaturated at that point. 2017, insane, but this is where Jinder Mahal. This is very much like I'm saying with, what was the one I just said? It's very 2002-esque, where it's not the greatest show, but so much crazy shit happens on it, you kind of like appreciate it a little bit. Then 2018 already went over. That was not a good one. Now, I will date myself. I have no memory of Backlash 2019, or even if there was a Backlash 2019, because I don't think there was. Because I don't think there was a Backlash 2019. Because they did the Money in the Bank. And the only reason I remember that is because Becky lost, because Becky was had the 2 titles. And they did Money in the Bank, and she was the poster of it with the 2 titles, and lost the SmackDown one. So, kind of pointless to have both the titles in the main event just to quickly lose one of them. So, I don't even think there was a Backlash 2019. 2020 was Edge versus Randy Orton, which, you know what? I might go down the rabbit hole of watching that tonight, that pay-per-view, because I don't remember. I remember they gave a lot of effort for that matchup, but I don't remember it, so I think that's what I'm actually going to do after this is filmed. Then 2021, oh boy, and still. 2021, kind of an ass show, nothing really that crazy. Roman, actually, I take it back. We had a freaking match full of zombies and Cesaro main event in a pay-per-view. 2022, I'm not going to dwell it too much because that's what we're covering on this week's Retro Review. And then 2023, great freaking show. Fucking Bad Bunny, Damian Priest in Puerto Rico, the crowd going crazy and whatnot. I would say I'd watch that back, but I've watched it back at least once, maybe twice. And then last year's, we had AJ and Cody, which I also got to go down that rabbit hole and watch that back. Oh my, you must be online. Am I not online? I think that I am. Am I not online? What the hell happened there? We're live, pal. Bro, we're 20 minutes in on our 4th fight. To be fair, I've been skipping all the entrances. I don't think the last time around I did. Now, I will say here, this is probably the biggest fight of this series and of this card, Obviously, the implications for the next fight are bigger, so that's why it's in the main event spot. Probably our toughest test here, because we're going against heavyweight John Jones with Alex Pereira, defending the light heavyweight title to complete his light heavyweight title journey. So here we go. Enough of talking about backlashes. Talk about... We'll watch the entrances for this. Screw it. As I just told y'all, we've been skipping through them. Light heavyweight title. Alex Pereira in our series has defeated Israel Adesanya, Jan Blachowicz, Shogun Rua, Rampage Jackson. Now he's looking to add John Jones to that list. I feel like there's probably one other name I'm forgetting. We're also looking to see if there was a backlash in 2019. And I've also said I'm excited for the show. There's only 2 matches in it. Actually, 3. Forgot there's freaking 3. An event was originally scheduled for June. Oh my god, I don't know how. History? Do we go to history? This is via Wikipedia. In 2019, Backlash was originally scheduled to be held in June. However, it was canceled and replaced by a one-off pay-per-view called Stomping Grounds. So if you want to go into the history of Backlash and consider this a Backlash show, it sucked. I remember. Actually, I don't think this was a bad show. It was just nothing of note happened, you know. It is also just like, why the hell do you have to have this weird-ass pay-per-view and name it? And you also could tell that they kind of felt the same way, considering they never did another Stomping Ground events afterwards. But one of my all-time favorite tag teams competed on this show, and Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. They defeated the Heavy Machinery for the tag team titles. Do I go down the rabbit hole and watch this show back? Probably no. So, was I right that Money in the Bank? Okay, they had Super Showdown, which was a Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. This is the infamous Undertaker-Goldberg match, which is not really a good thing. If I have to ask, is that the worst of the Saudi Arabia matches that have happened? But it's definitely the one that comes to mind the most. That might be a rabbit hole to go down. What's the worst of those matches? Money in the Bank 2019. Okay. I was having a conversation with somebody about Gunther post WrestleMania and what he should do. Bro, they're the same age, same height, big ass weight difference, obviously. So, that being said, I suggested that they go down the route of putting Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser together as a tag team and give them the tag team titles. I just feel that's interesting. Make Gunther a Triple Crown champion because he's been a world champion, IC and tag titles. Gives Kaiser something to do. Kind of like brings Imperium back because they kind of just, whenever it's needed, they make them a group. But I was just suggesting it, and it was kind of a joke because I was making it in reference to Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan and what they did for Daniel Bryan post losing the WWE title at WrestleMania. And the person was like, that just sounds bad. Now we're in a situation where Gunther's freaking fighting Pat McAfee. So you tell me which one is worse. Now, that being said, going down this rabbit hole, Money in the Bank 2019, you're in the WWE title match at WrestleMania. The next pay-per-view, you're losing on the kickoff. Now, granted, they did lose to the Usos, which maybe saying that name makes people mad because everybody hates Jey Uso. A lot of people hate Jey Uso. I don't really have a big problem with him. I kind of struggle to say it, so it kind of makes it seem like I do. Talking about the Pat McAfee and Gunther match. Again, Pat McAfee, I don't really have a problem with. But I also want it to be pointed out that he was a punter in the NFL. It's not. He wasn't a middle linebacker. He was not like Ray Lewis. He wasn't Ed Reed. He should not realistically give Gunther any problems. Now, if it's like a stipulation match, he hits him with a chair, kendo stick, and he gets his offense through that, I understand. But I also know that this is not Pat McAfee's first fight, but this should first match. But logically speaking, Gunther should do his ass up, and I have my concerns on if that will happen. But I had to get that off my chest. And I mainly just was saying it because I was saying he was a punter, which very much does come off as an insult. And y'all know I'm not saying it. Behind every joke is a little bit of truth. As John Jones and Stipe Miocic, when they fought in our series, they did give us one of our most competitive fights. So, John Jones also returned to MSG. Look at, I guess this would, I would imagine you consider this history. Winning back a championship. That Dominic Reyes fight's 5 years ago now. How does that make y'all feel? So we've stuffed the takedowns, which was an issue in that Stipe fight that I told y'all about. It's been a very quick first round, quick first 4 minutes at least. Oh! We got sucked into a takedown. There might be awkward silence for this fight, as concentration feels a bit needed. Okay. I imagine because it's John Jones that holding both buttons and being ready for it means it's very little. That could be good. If I didn't go for a hook and went for a jab, it would have landed. Okay, that sent us a little bit too far back. There we go. Oh, he was going for the knee. He had no energy for that takedown as well. Both times we try to go for the high knee with damage. End up getting taken down. Ooh, round 3. First fight tonight to go in the 3rd round. Both land at the same time. Oh, Jesus. Elbowed on the freaking right side, cut on the left side. That would have landed, I would have been pissed. Every time. But he's figured us out. Alright. Maybe I go for the knee first, then the punch. Okay, well, this is not a position you want to be in. Because that was the first time I've ever seen that happen. Okay. I got more excited for that because I thought we were going to be able to get up after that, but no. Alright, right here, though, maybe. Yes. Alright. I was going for a kick. Ooh. Who was this for? It's for him. We should be able to continue. It's very fitting that he gets offensive. They stop this. Maybe they're trying to give him a rest. Maybe they're trying to give us a rest. We know. Come on. Trying it. The high knee has not worked. I tried it there. I didn't even get to move at all. Okay, now finally, after hyping it up. Main goal here is to not get taken down. There, all right. Going into the 4th. Ah! I'm standing up for this. It's not even our main event. Now he touches gloves. And that ends it. Maybe that's why I touched him. It's Alex Pereira. I think he completes the light heavyweight saga. Obviously, he never defeated Forrest Griffin, but I personally was not letting that happen. So, no, the biggest victory of his career. I think we could say that. We have one more fight. George St. Pierre. I don't know what they mean by this. The biggest fights that we're ever having don't even get to progress our profile, but at least we have completed the punch card. So I'm not as upset. George St. Pierre, our current middleweight champion, got back down to welterweight to face our welterweight champion, Nick Diaz, looking to become a double champion. Let's see if GSP can make history. Now, obviously, we don't get the. We probably would not. Well, obviously, we won't because of the damn profile bullcrap that's going on right now. But George St. Pierre, it'd be fitting if he / I win this fight. We got the double champ thing. End on a great note, historic note. Might not. Maybe we get a bit of history. Nick Diaz defeats GSP, maybe he's like, I ought to be double champion. And get over the trilogy belt. Money in the Bank 2019. Holy crap. Money in the Bank 2019. I want to read this. Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe. Rey Mysterio defeated Samoa Joe for the U.S. title in a minute 40, which I'm very upset by because at WrestleMania, let's see how long their match was there. But I obviously know that it wasn't that long because Rey was hurt, so they needed him to have a quick match. The WrestleMania match was 58 seconds, so they got 58 more seconds in this match, but at least there was a title change. Then, Shane McMahon defeated The Miz in a steel cage match. Tony Nese defeated Ari Daivari to retain his Cruiserweight title on the main card. That's why I was more flabbergasted by. Then Becky beat Lacey Evans. Charlotte beat Becky. Bayley beat Charlotte. How many? Holy crap. They were just putting shit on. We had a 2-minute match, and I'm rounded for that one. We had a 20-second match, which, is a technicality because it's a Money in the Bank cash-in. And I just told y'all both that it's not even the shortest match on the card. 8 seconds. Roman Reigns defeated Elias. This might be a new segment. Going down a rabbit hole. Just finding something and just talking shit about it. I can't wait to eat some Cheez-Its and watch Backlash 2020 in a couple of minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
It's time. Timeout. Where the hell is Ric Flair? This has got to be old as hell. And I know that I did this by Ric Flair. There was a graphic. It had Ric Flair as 21-time world champion. I thought it was trying to be reset. GSP, Nick Diaz 2, closing out our UFC 5 series. A lot of blue in the cage right now. I will admit that I kind of probably should have bought Strikeforce Nick Diaz for this, but being cheap. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Both landed big shots. I would say ours is probably way worse. That big gash that they're not even looking at, trying to help with. That was a way to end a round after awkward silence. Oh my god, that was perfectly timed. I'm gonna hope this is not a doctor's option. I know that he's in the red. The whole freaking bar thing is gone. This is concerning. That normally doesn't happen. He doesn't even look that affected. That is not. Oh my goodness, that's an insane way to end this shit. That is an insane way to end this. Look at. He looks normal. He looks perfectly fine. What a way to go out. I don't think no. We're doing a rematch. Can I do a rematch? They're saying no. I still don't know what the hell this means. What a way to freaking end this series. So, like I said, the plan is fight of the night. Oh my goodness, fight of the night. The plan is we're gonna finish the Brooklyn Nets franchise series on NBA 2K25. Depending on how that goes, and if we got any new games or anything new to do, we might make a return, make a pit stop back here. Who knows? But I do feel this is a great way to go out. Oh my god, they're making this 10 times difficult. All right, y'all see the issues that are going on. I'm gonna go ahead and skip all the way back to that. I also still don't know what they mean by I'm not signed in. So way too much chaos going on here. So maybe this is a cliffhanger. Maybe we need to run things back here. Who knows? We'll see when the time comes. So I do appreciate y'all watching this. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you when I see you. Because I'm out for now. Goodbye.